Okay, hey guys, it is I, Archangel, and right now we are on a project where I have a i5 3470 Optiplex, or it's an Optiplex 7010, but it has an i5 3470. And this case is supposed to be a small form factor, but it's a bit bigger than I expected. It's kind of like mid-tower size, but skinnier, like half the size of a mid-tower. Now, there should be a working system, and of course, every time I try VGA, it just doesn't want to work with my monitor, so here's the first look at the system. It's a bit dusty, not as dusty as some other computers I've seen. Of course, I got this from eBay, from a company that shall not be named until I know this works. Actually, I'm not even going to name them. I don't even care. Let's see. So, I don't really remember too much about this, but I do know the system had the i5 3400, apparently 500 gigs, 8 sticks of RAM, or 8 gigs, sorry, not 8, if I had 8 sticks, that's another story, but 8 gigs of RAM. And what else did I want from it? I think that was it, yeah, because I'm going to take the hard drive, motherboard, RAM, of course the cooler and the CPU. I'm going to leave the DVD drive inside of this. I am going to... Oh, there's a fan I could salvage. I didn't even think of that. Duh. So the cooler, I actually like how that cooler looks. I can see some gunk inside of there, though. Oh, actually, it's pretty nasty when you get up close. So if you can see in there, yeah. That's gunk. Yep. Just a little bit of dust and a little itty-bitty power supply. I've never seen one that tiny before, but I normally mess with either smaller or slightly bigger, but hard drive. Of course, there's 4 slots and 2 sticks of RAM in the second and fourth slot. So this will be an easy upgrade for anyone that wants to upgrade it. The motherboard, I think, is either MATX or slightly bigger than an MATX. I'm not really sure. But let's get to work. So, yeah. RX 470 4GB model Asus Strix model. I love how these cards look. Like, I would say I want my personal one to be that, but actually I do. I love my Gigabyte RTX 2060, but I mean these things are really sexy, and I believe the cooler is better than mine, or at least the Asus version of the 2060 is better than mine. Now I got the system. Now I do still need to clean off the cooler. I did air blow it, but there's still some dust in there. You can't see it. I fixed the standoffs. I got the fans plugged into the Molex adapter, and the LED fan that came with this case, the single fan. Which it sucks that it shows two like blue LED fans in the photo, but it only comes with one. I don't like that. I think that's kind of dumb myself. But besides that, oh, there we go. Besides that, motherboard standoffs are all in the correctly. I mean, maybe they need a bit more tightening, but there we go. But so I still need to take off the cooler and clean it. That's the USB3 cable. I definitely need a cable manage. I guess let's start plugging in stuff. Next, I think we can install like the hard drive maybe, or should we? Because the hard drive just goes there and it's easy. It's just I gotta put like 2 screws though. Oh wait, no. I guess yeah, I can flip it on the other side and put the other screws in there. So, how am I gonna put this in now? Or should I wait? Because I'm gonna sticks out quite a bit. If you look at this, it sticks out not that. Yeah, it'll work. So screw this in. We'll basically get everything situated and ready to roll before we. I know that we should be testing the adapters, the other adapter that we have for the front panel stuff, but we can try that anyway. We can try that after I assemble all this, because if the front panel doesn't work, I can sell this for less than what I want. Or at least what was gonna be my original price. Let's see. I can only put one more. No, can I put both in there? I don't know if I can reach that far with this. Crap. Come on. That's the one thing about computers is that they are so. It's always gonna lose the screws. The screws fly everywhere and they get stuck in all kinds of nooks and crannies. You know what? Half of it is already in, and it's pretty snug in there. It's actually really snug in there. Like that hard drive is not going anywhere. Just 2 screws. Are you kidding? I can barely move it. Let's see. So I guess we can. Cable management is going to be horrendous, but luckily we can't see through the side panel. There's just like a little fan. Hold on, let me show you. This is all we're going to see. As long as it looks pretty on the front, it's fine. The Asus card is going to shine a little light through there. It's going to look kind of cool. They're not really going to look inside the case, hopefully. Unless they transfer to another case, but this is a pretty ugly motherboard, so I would hope they would upgrade the computer or something before they were worried about, or change them. I hope they would change the motherboard before worrying about anything else, like a new case or, my nose, a graphic card upgrade or something, because I think you can reuse this cooler for motherboards that are the same thing. If they do go with the same motherboard, or I know they couldn't reuse the cooler, still, it'd be, that's nasty. I rather have them upgrade to a different motherboard before they change a case, either to a normal motherboard or to a just a different motherboard, so a different like system, so like a Ryzen system or maybe another Intel system or something. Up to them, really. Is the camera still going? Yeah, okay. I hate it when I think I talk for a while and then I find out that the camera wasn't even going. I've had that happen multiple times during this project. And I think a little bit on the Xeon 1245 project, which I have lying in my room, which I don't know. I think this video is going to get done before that one. Alright, it will. But hopefully this ends well. I think I'll just remove the cooler for now, take a break, and tomorrow I'll clean off the cooler when it's brighter and I'm allowed to make noise and take nail polish. Because there's multiple ways to remove thermal paste. I preferably do it through nail polish just because my mom has it. And if you have any sisters or maybe you're a girl, you could easily just use your own nail polish. There's a bunch of videos on stuff you could use to replace normal like cleaner. You could just use water and stuff if you wanted to, but I watched Linus Tech Tips. They did a video on it, or maybe it was it was Linus Tech Tips. I think it was Riley and all them, or Riley and James were working on it, and they were showing ways to remove thermal paste, and then they think they did another video with each other where they did like stuff to replace thermal paste, so like toothpaste and all that stuff. So there's the CPU, it needs wiped down. This is the cooler. The paste doesn't, it just like, that piece like just dropped straight down. This isn't that bad. That quick air blow earlier cleaned out most of the gunk, but there's still a little bit gunk in the edges in there, and dust on like little corners and stuff. Fuzz around this, so that'll get cleaned later. So see y'all in the morning, and we'll get this project finished. So, see ya whenever that is, I guess. Hopefully tomorrow. So the power supply hasn't showed up yet, but I had an idea, because I found out the adapters I bought only work on, well, if you read this, at one point it'll say that it does not work with small form factor, not SFF, or small form factor desktops. So yes, it is an Optiplex 7010, but it is not the it is a small form factor case is what it was supposed to be. So the adapters do not work. So I decided to take the original ports, so the USB ports and the speaker and headphone jack, and I even took the hard drive lights with this. Now that is not pretty. This I cut with my Dremel, the front metal piece that was supposed to be where the DVD drive goes. I took off the metal cover of this, of course. I ended up hot gluing it after cutting the plastic because it was still a bit too big, and that's why that is sideways instead of, because normally it's like this. This is supposed to be vertical, not horizontal right now like it is. Well, now it's like vertical, but it's supposed to be horizontal in this orientation. I don't have the power. The power supply is supposed to come today, but it didn't show up for some reason. So hopefully it'll show up tomorrow, because it said it was supposed to show up today, but then it changed last second, which sucks. But this thing does have USB 3.0. It just doesn't look like it. So like if you look at the cable, these far left two are USB 3. Both these are USB 2.0. That is the speaker jack. That is the headphone jack. And then, of course, all the hard drive lights or whatever. Now, it doesn't look pretty with the hot glue now, but when it's in the case, it'll be a bit darker. And if they see that and they don't like it, well, I don't know what else to do. There's hot glue all on the underside to hold it into place. I was just had it here in these three spots for, like, security. They could paint the PCB of this, and they can't paint the hot glue if they feel like it, I guess. But no, all I needed to do was pop out this piece from this, and then I undid the little wraps of metal right here. These like bend and hold this into place. So I removed this. I cut through this. I held this, and I had a general idea, not perfect, but a general idea. I probably should have made it closer to USBs, but I thought of the whole black thing because I wasn't thinking at first. But yeah, it's pretty. I think it actually looks pretty nice. I mean, if you painted that black, that would look. I would actually personally be okay with this. Of course, they can't use a USB 3 once we put the graphic card in there, so they'll have to buy a right angle adapter. So I'm definitely gonna have to lower the price, not only because I modded part of the case, but because they're also gonna get their own adapter. And it is it's a decent gaming PC. It could use more RAM, but because it's it can just use, it can be given 2 more sticks, it'll be fine. I just need to pop these out, or pop one of these out, see what it is, and make sure we have matching pairs of RAM. But I mean, it's coming together at least, and it should still work in the end. I mean, I removed the speaker and headphone jack, the original one, the USBs. This was all connected to one on a single PCB. Those are still in there. That reset switch is still in there, and the USB 3 has been taken out. I have them all right here. USB 3, yeah, right there. There. USB 3 was just a little bit of like rubber with this around it, but which I thought was kind of cool but weird. Nice little trick. Instead of making a PCB, you can just, do it like that. So I guess that works. But I'm going to when I sell this PC, I'll sell it with these the original features, and I'm only taking most of them out, so they use the correct one and be like, oh, it's broken. No, it's not broken. This is how you're supposed to use it. And if they ever want to put a normal computer in this case, they can. And if they don't, then, well, they can give it to whoever else, and maybe they will, or I don't know the story. There's a lot of things that could happen. I can't predict every way. I'm just saying, this is how I'm going to do it. And I don't know. I mean, if you don't like it, well, I'm sorry. I'm doing my best here, and I don't want to spend money on a another adapter that I don't even know will work, because I don't think the eBay said anything about that adapter, although I probably didn't read far enough either. But I've seen people with a much more janky system, and at least this is working and looks semi-professional. Not professional whatsoever, but it looks a lot nicer than some other things I've seen. Like, some people have a computer like this, but they will just use a screwdriver every time to turn on the computer. You know, it's not the worst system, and there are YouTubers and other tech people who fix computers in very much more ghetto-like ways. But speaking of ghetto, I actually like, once again, I like how this looks. Yeah, it looks ghetto, and it looks homemade, but I mean, that looks nice. I did spray paint the piece of metal, though. Before I attached the USBs in that, I spray painted it because it was scratched up a little bit from me, spray painting it. So, I mean, yeah. But hey, it works. It's sturdy, so I'm proud of that. So we can just slide that in. Now, it also gives us less cables to manage because the original case had them all separate, a bunch of separate cables. This is all one big cable, and this should just clip right back into place, hopefully. You know what? Come on. You know what? Give me a second. There we go. It's starting to go in, and it's almost there, Come on. There we go. Clipped, and it works. It actually fits. Like, okay, so I only dropped the hot glue gun, although it should be cool by now, but so hold up. As I give you motion sickness. There we go. So now we have a gaming computer that doesn't look that bad. I still think it looks pretty okay. A lot less janky than, a bit more janky than people are used to, but a lot less janky than I've seen in the tech world. Maybe not personally, but just on YouTube, and actually I have seen a little bit of jank on Craigslist, of course, not in person, but Craigslist. So yeah, those cables should plug right in. Let's actually test that out. Do they plug in? I thought they would reach, or couldn't reach at first where they originally were supposed to fit. USB 3 can fit, but because the graphic card's going there, it won't fit. Well, now it won't fit. It'll fit now, but it won't fit later. And these, the USB and the speaker. Oh no, you gotta be kidding me. It's just too short. Is it just because of that? Or is it actually gonna be too short for this? I did not just mod this only for it to not want to work, or not work in there. Because it's so close. And I can't extend it any further. You gotta be kidding me. And I made the cut. Are you kidding me? Oh, that's dumb. It's not exactly like you can just yank the cable out more, because otherwise it's just gonna break it, and then what's the point of even having front USB and all kinds of stuff if none of it even works? So I might actually have to spend a bit more money. I could get myself I can get them the USB 3.0 adapter, and I'll have to get them a extender for the plug-in, maybe? I'm not really sure how that's gonna work. That's my question. Like, because it's not gonna extend any further. Or maybe, no, it can't. It's such a tight fit, or like tight squeeze. Like, what cable am I putting stress on? Putting stress on the cable that leads to the two USBs, the normal USB 2.0s. It's like it's so annoying because it's like right there. Like, if it was even like a couple centimeters up, not centimeters, but like half an inch upward, it would fit. It's like, you can touch it when it's angled like this. But of course you can't just plug it in like this. Like, the right side can easily go in. It has enough slack. the right side is the audio ports and stuff. So maybe I could just say these middle to the 2.0 does not work. I could like undo those and then just have the rest plugged in maybe. I mean, yeah, because that's just USB 2.0. If that cable is the only one that's in the way, I could just unplug it. Well, I can undo the wires, and if they want to do it again, they can. Once again, it's all up to the buyer. So, what I have is front panel issues and getting a power supply to actually show up. Because I bought a power supply, it got refunded because they ran out of stock. I had to buy a new power supply, and I thought it was supposed to show up today, it didn't. So tomorrow the power supply will show up and I need to install it. And then I need to take, and I need to have the, well, I already said the front aisle. Now, oh my goodness, I don't even know anymore. So I think I'll just try to undo the wiring on the 2.0. And then I'll have to find a way to cover up the 2.0 or just say, hey, these middle two ports do not work. And I probably might have to go fishing in the garbage for the little metal piece and cut it up more maybe. I don't think I will actually. I might just at most put electrical tape over it. Or just leave it as is or something. I don't know. That's super annoying. But because they'll still have USBs. They'll have two front USBs and they'll both be 3.0. And then, of course, at the back of the computer, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 6 USBs in total. I would guess the top two are maybe USB 3. I'm not really sure. And for audio, they still have audio, like right here. They can use it, like, because you see the speaker there. They can connect it to another device or whatever, you know. It's not like they're totally out of options. I personally have my computer plugged into the back. Through the back of the motherboard for audio, because I don't really... Well, this case has a nice front audio, I think. But it just looks less clean then, versus if it's plugged in through the back. It looks much cleaner, but maybe this person doesn't care about being clean. In theory, whoever buys it, they just care about accessibility. Now, one of the wires did come undone on the, they totally tore, which is dumb because I wasn't putting any stress on it either. And the audio for the headset, a yellow cable tore, so I tried putting it on as close as I could, or getting it to touch metal to metal, and I hot glued it. If it does not work, I could just tell them, use the back one and just don't use this. So that just means even more this is unusable. So 1, 2, 3, and yeah, but we'll still have 1, 2, 3, and 4 still working. And the power button works as both the power and the reset. So that reset won't do nothing, but because if you just hold it, it'll just reset or turn off. Just you mess with the power button. Now reset and a power button do the same, essentially the same thing, but reset does it like completely once. Just one push of a button. This one you have to hold the power button. That's, I don't know anymore. I personally just hold the power button instead of push the reset button because that can mess with my RGB and I don't really want to mess with that. Or I don't want to, mess up my RGB and have to cycle all the way back to the color scheme I have it. So now I'm back and I opened it, sorry. I took off the plastic wrap, but I just got a Cooler Master MWE 550 white. It is 80 plus white certified. It gives 150 watts. And yeah, this was, I think it was around $59. This was like a little under 60. A lot of power supplies are very expensive right now, and it is really ridiculous right now to get a power supply for a good price because high supply, high demand. So it gave us a power cord which is always good. Actually, I'll keep the power cord like this, because I already have one ready to plug into the computer. And then it is not modular. It has a 3-year warranty on it too. So the user can, whoever buys the computer, gets a brand new power supply with a 3-year warranty. So I will leave all the stuff like the silica gel, the bubble wrap, the guide, because I already know how to install a power supply. That should have something about the warranty. Ah! What just smacked me? Ah! Oh, the power supply screws. Good. Then I don't need to use my own. And from the looks of it, this has all the connections that I need. SATA, the 24-pin, the 8-pin, the... Oh, more 8-pin, CPU. Okay, well, PCIe, the CPU, and a Molex cable. The Molex was really what I was after, because otherwise we couldn't have gotten the fans working. Now, this is like 2 days after I thought I was getting the power supply. Not one day. Things changed on Amazon real quick, so it came today instead of then, but we have it now, and it actually looks nice. It feels nice. Ooh, this this actually feels really smooth. The sticker. This isn't that bad of a power supply, to be honest. I mean, although there's a lot of cable management I'm gonna have to do, which is the downside, and then there's not a lot of room on the other side of the case to manage it. So, luckily I have a lot of zip ties to use. All this is just the power supply. Oh, not the top. It's a 24-pin connector. What the heck? Do you see that? That's so much. Like, why is it not just one long, thick cable? I don't know why they had to make that like that. So, that's a lot of the cabling. I mean, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 separate cables or whatever. You know, but the power supply has so many, it makes it look like there's like 10 more, almost. So, I'll get to installing this power supply like this. After I take screws out of the power of this. Gotta get my screwdriver out, and then this has my, not my bobby. I don't know why I almost said bobby pins. My zip ties, which I'm grabbing like a few right now. Okay. Now, oh wait, real quick, I had to rip out the USB connections, so the USB 2.0 connections. There is an adapter for the USB 3, because this is just a standard USB 3, I believe. And it's cheap, like $5 or $6 right angle thing. That, depending on who buys it, they might just pay for that and do it themselves, unless they don't really care. So, because I have 2 possible people that might have interest in buying it. One's a friend of my brother's who can do something small like that, and then the other buyer is possibly one of my close friends who has not a clue about computers, nothing. But my brother's friend is okay with doing small things like throwing in a USB right-angled thing or whatever. But he's not a full-out. He doesn't build full computers, and I don't think he's never built a full computer in his life, or I don't know if he's worked on one hard, like physically, but still. Depending on who buys it, I'll decide if I'm going to buy it or not, because it's just a $5 or $6 adapter. It's easy. It's not an adapter, or I guess it is a right angle adapter, so I guess it does count as an adapter, but still. So I'm just gonna say this power supply was around $60, just to make it easy instead of exact numbers. Because like with tax, it went up to 60 or whatever, something around there. I mean, it looks nice, it matches the back, so that's better than the crappy, what is it, not gray power supplies that I have. I have a lot of those. Okay, let's find out what cable goes where real quick. Twice this thing, I turned it off, I turned it back on, and it didn't get a boot error, it went straight to Windows, so that means I am going to put this in the, well, I'm going to start downloading games on this basically. I'm going to get the games downloaded and then we're going to do some testing. So I think I'll try to download Metro Exodus on this because that's an offline game that this computer can run, and that's a very hard hard to run game. If it can run Metro Exodus, it can run quite a lot of games. I could get Call of Duty Modern Warfare in here as well, although that will take up a lot of space. I should just stick, I'm not sure. I'll figure it out. Because once again, I do not have Ethernet in my room, but I'm actually getting and I don't have the Wi-Fi adapter. And then also, I am talking to my parents about getting Ethernet in my room, or at least the Wi-Fi router close enough to my room that I can use it, like, I could just use a long cable and extend it to my room for, like, whenever I do a project like this. So, well, I'll get that figured out. I don't like how this keeps flashing, though. That's gonna give someone a seizure. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's like bothering me. I'm sure whoever's playing it won't stare at it, right? You know what? I'll figure it out. Or if they have an issue, they could just paint over it too. Crap. Crab nuggets. Oh well. Well, I'll let you know. So I got Metro Exodus running at 1080p, and I had it on high settings, which would give the lowest I saw in the beginning of the first mission was probably, or like the beginning part where with all the snow, where you're traveling with Anna. That part, lowest I got was like 45 FPS, I believe. So I had to lower the settings to, what was it? 55 FPS was the lowest I got with medium settings. The average is, it depends. I'd guess around 80, well, in the 80s area. I'm playing one-handed. This is a load of fun. Oh, I can't turn around. Okay, anyways, but we're like over 60 FPS. Sometimes it'll play exactly at 60 FPS, sometimes in the 70s or 80s, and the highest it'll get to that is the hundreds in certain areas. Sometimes cutscenes, it'll either be really high or it'll be like 50 or 55. It's kind of weird, but if the computer can run Metro Exodus on medium settings just perfectly fine. It is not it is not a very well optimized game. I love this game, but it's not as optimized as like Call of Duty or Doom Eternal is known for being extremely well optimized, or the Resident Evil 2 remake. So if this computer can run it, I say that's a good go, I guess. I talked with one of my brother's friends who's interested in getting this computer. He says he does not care at all about that front I/O, if it works or anything or looks ugly. He just cares that it can even run games at all, such as Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which is a game he'll be playing a lot. He didn't even see the fan there, so he doesn't even know that that's there. So that might be a bit of a surprise, but he doesn't care too much about the what the look is. He cared about the motherboard and the upgrade path. So I showed him the inside, so he's glad he can upgrade it with a new motherboard and stuff. Because, well, it's a crappy motherboard. It's just a Dell Optiplex OEM board. He can upgrade that. He can upgrade the graphic card easily. He could throw in an SSD, which I'm gonna ask him, hey, if you're gonna throw in an SSD in this, like soon, because he said he's gonna replace that. So if he's doing it soon, then maybe I can get the hard drive out of this thing and keep it. So his price gets lowered, because I can make the price lower if he lets me keep the hard drive. So it's a win-win for me. Because I can reuse the hard drive in a lot of other systems. And it has 4 RAM slots, and only the second and the fourth are being used for RAM, and the first and third are open, so those can be used for more RAM, so you can upgrade to 16 gigs of RAM without having to pop any out. I believe the motherboard might support up to 32. I'm not sure completely, but yeah, but he'll still get the original like I/O. So if he ever does switch to a normal motherboard, like an Asus board or MSI board, just any normal motherboard, he can, and he can just put these back in. They're all held in by screws. They're super easy. I don't know what he'll do about this. This does pop right out. So I guess that's one thing. I'll just talk with him. Maybe I can always get the motherboard back if he ever upgrades anything, unless he sells it, which he can if he wants. Besides that, he didn't care about a DVD drive. He didn't care about if any of this front I/O worked. He did not care that this does look janky. With the whole. Wait, can I get this light? There. That didn't help. Oh, it helped a little bit. Yeah, he didn't care that this looks a little bit janky or whatever. He didn't care that was empty. He just wanted a working computer. So I'm just glad about that. So now that I'm here, I will give my final thoughts of this computer, right? I might hold up. Yeah, okay, I'll give my final thoughts now. So as a game, I know I could only do Metro Exodus. Oh yeah, Metro Exodus. Also, the highest the graphic card went was 70 degrees. It was at 69 degrees for a while, but then it turned to 70. The CPU temps, they hovered around the 50s. The highest they went was, I think it was low 60s. I didn't see them at all go above like 65 degrees Celsius, so that's good. The usage wasn't that high. I don't believe so. It's a pretty good CPU, and the graphic card's hitting its limit, of course, at 100%. Most of the time in this game, but that's because I'm playing the game at pretty high or medium settings, and it's pushing pretty hard. I'm pushing it kind of hard, but it's given me a very enjoyable experience, even at high settings, where it would be around lowest it would get. It's like 45 FPS. I thought it was very enjoyable to play. I didn't notice any like lag or stutters or anything. It felt smooth. I didn't even notice it was at 45 FPS, but it was. Besides that being around that, it's a good game. It's a decent gaming PC, at least for a beginning gaming PC. It's really nice. I mean, there are lower end gaming PCs that people could start with and that. So I'm glad we are getting this ready for someone who is starting his first computer, but he knows a little bit about computers, because he knows how to throw in an SSD, apparently. So, and he knows what an SSD is in the first place, and he knows a little bit about upgrading. It's just, I don't know if it was because he didn't know how to build a complete computer, or maybe he just didn't have the money to until now, but either way, it's gonna be a nice computer for him, even though it's banged up because I sat on the side panels on accident. But As a computer, I think this. I'd actually be. I kind of. Part of me wishes this was my first system. I mean, the airflow is not the best. The graphic card should be getting less. Should be a bit cooler than 70 degrees. But considering these, there's two fans here: the original fan and this fan, and then also the rear fan that came with the motherboard in the old case are all in this. So, because, yeah, rear fan. Whoops, I took that over. I mean, this is kind of warm. This, I can't feel much heat coming out of this, but I bet if you put a fan there, that could affect the temps. But I only got 4-pin fans, and I got, well, you know, it has 3-pin fans, and they're nicer fans too, so even if they were 3-pin, I wouldn't just sacrifice it just for this build. But this computer is not that bad. I'm calling this PC the Yeeter, just cause it kind of looks like Yeetian. Yeetian? Maybe it's Yeeyan, or Yeetian. I'm calling it Yeeter, just cause it's easier, cause I basically just yeeted parts from a Optiplex into a new case with some additions and a very ugly mod. I think I'll actually give him the original DVD player in case he wants to replace that front aisle, and I don't really have too much of a need for this for now. I could always put this in a normal computer just cause, but I'll put it with this. Oh, I guess I'll be in the way of some of the cable management. Never mind, sorry, ignore me. But yeah, so this build is complete. Is that the end of this video? Yeah, I think it's the end of the video. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it wasn't the most high quality one. I kind of threw this together. This is my first actual time recording it. Me starting up my little computer, not business, but little hobby of working on computers. Let me know what I did good. Let me know what I can do better. Next time, I know I'll make sure I'll have a Wi-Fi dongle or something, and I'll get more games in the bench, and I'll actually try to get more gameplay and stuff, because I didn't even show much gameplay. All I did was show me playing one-handed just for a little bit, because I was too lazy to set up my camera stand or whatever for this. But I hope you can forgive me for that. So thank you for watching. Be ready for more content, because I will get more computers out and ready to go game, and I'll sell them. And I know this could have used like an SSD and stuff. But once again, the person I'm selling this to can always upgrade to it, and he knows how to do that himself. So, but other computers, I will possibly try to throw an SSD in there. I know that once again there's issues that people have sometimes where it'll try to only use the use the first drive, which can be the smaller drive, and that can be an issue. And I'm not exactly the best at making sure software stuff runs smoothly, so that's why I'm just using hard drives. But I will try to see in the future, maybe I can throw a few SSDs in systems. If a system doesn't come with a drive, and I don't have any drives lying around, I'm going to try to throw an SSD in it, depending on if it's good or not. It all depends on the context, and like, you know, what resources I have, etc. But I won't put anything more than a terabyte SSD unless it's a PC requested specifically by a person for a person, like either that be that themselves, a family friend, as long as I'm getting paid to assemble it. If I know you in person, which if you are, you'll hopefully have checked my Snapchat or whatever and saw this. Hopefully you have. If you're a good friend, you know who I am. You feel free to ask me to build you a computer if you have money for it, or if you're interested in getting a computer. Talk to me and give me some time, and I can build you a computer that you can pay for. That's budget friendly. That's in okay or quality condition. This is not the best quality, but I'm a lot more trustworthy than some other people that are selling in our area at least. And if you have a gaming PC or PC parts that you could sell for cheap or just want to get rid of off your hands for free, I'll take them. I mean, I'll take all kinds of junk. Keyboards I'll take, monitors I'll take, any kind of computer. I'll even take some of the older crap if you want me to. Just let me know, I guess. Last thing I found out, the price of the computer I built. This is a $325 computer. And I'm selling it for $360, unless they let me keep the hard drive, and then they can get an SSD or something. Then they can get I'll sell it to them for $350. So am I either making $32 of profit from this, or $22 worth of profit, which, considering the risk with buying computer stuff, and if something doesn't work, that could take up not only that $32, that could take up more than $32. So there's a risk with doing computer stuff. Even though I like doing computer stuff, it can really screw you over. If one thing goes wrong, depending on your budget, it could screw it all over, which that's why some people are dissuaded from messing with computer stuff, because I've had that too, where when I built my own computer, I fried the RGB in the motherboard, and the computer still worked fine. I didn't realize I fried the RGB for years, and then I realized what that smell of smoke was. It was the RGB, but that's why some people don't mess with computer stuff like I do. And if you ever need help repairing anything, a computer, or you want me to check it out or something, feel free to tell me or whatever. I'm available, guys. If you want a computer built, just contact me if you know me in person. And besides that, I'm just going to be building and selling gaming PCs to any of my friends or strangers after my friends and my brother's friends and maybe my parents' friends are no longer looking for one. So, see ya.